Right, I can now move along with our canopies, but just a quick one before we move in on them. What we have here is our whole engine section. It does seem to build rather nicely. This will glue on here like so, but I'm going to leave this off so we can paint it and weather it at our own leisure. I'm going to leave it off because here we have our nice bit of engine cowl, which actually fits rather well to our model like so well that actually I don't mind considering going off and spraying this separately. I'm going to spray it separately because again we want this to be a quick and easy build, and if we look at the actual markings we're doing here, right, as you can see the whole of the engine cowl is black, right, so let's spray it separately, completely black, instead of gluing it on. If we glue it on, we've got to then mask it up to spray it black and then mask that up. So, all sorts of masking. So easy, keep it off and spray it black. So let's jump into some canopies. Now we do have a fair few canopies actually that comes with this kit, so we can have a little bit of a play around with them. Now these canopies are, shall we say, very nice already. You could probably get away with just masking them up. However, I just want to sort of show you a little bit while we're here. Cutting them off of the sprue, you've got to be careful, because if you come in with some cutters like so, the plastic, the clear plastic, seems to be a bit more sort of on the brittle side. You sort of cut into it and it can splinter, which is fine for stuff like this because we're going to spray over it. But when it comes to canopies, we want that crystal clear sort of finish. So good ways of doing this. There is one option here, what is it, despair or something, I forget how to pronounce that, despair or something. These are really nice, good cutters. It's basically a razor blade on there and it will cut through that rather nice, but they are very expensive, right? So the option really you want to go for is good old CMK and their razor saw. We actually want to get the razor saw, right, and actually saw this off. It just gives us a much more cleaner, nicer, safer cut, right, so as we don't damage this. So I'm just being very careful. As I say, we don't want to make this splinter off, and just get through this as nicely as possible. And there we go, that's cut that off of the sprue, and we know we're going to get no splinters because we haven't sliced into it, right? Another thing I want to sort of quickly show you, and that is dipping some canopies, right? It's not my preferred method, but if you did want to shine up your canopy to look really shiny, but I mean, as you can see, they are pretty damn good by Eduard. But if you wanted to, dipping is quite sort of easy. I mean, you've got to be a little bit careful with it, but it is quite easy. With dipping canopies, I mean, first off, right, a nice sort of cloth, nice clean cloth. You want to make sure that your actual canopy here is absolutely dust free, because we're dipping it. Any bit of dust, a hair, or absolutely anything on this is going to show through, and it's going to look a little bit on the nasty side. It's going to sort of make you have to restart, which you can restart with this with this stuff. Right, so that is all nice and clean. You want to get a kitchen paper towel, right, and we want to just sort of maybe fold this, right. We want to lay this down, right. We want to get some tweezers to hold this. Now what I've got here, right, good product. It is the glass coat Gauzy agent, right. Don't shake it, right. I know you might be tempted, but you know, make sure it's just settled. We don't want any bubbles on the surface, because if you do shake it, you will get bubbles. And just want to open this carefully. So there you go, no bubbles, exactly what you want. You don't need to shake it. Right, and what we're going to do is we're going to actually just go off, and obviously we're just going to dip our canopy inside here. So we want to just very carefully just put it in, right? But then we want to very, very carefully just slowly bring it out, right? And maybe try and get most of it off. Right, and there's our dip canopy, but there's going to be a fair bit of excess, so I'm just going to sort of try and touch on our kitchen paper towel the edges, just to try and get rid of most of that. Maybe where I can't quite get it, just touch. There we go. Right, and then what I'm going to do is not do that, not accidentally let go. Probably should have used some locking tweezers, but hey ho, this is just an example. If you did make a mistake, you know, have some water on standby, you know, and you can just wash it off, right, dry it off, and then try again. So if you did notice by looking at it, oh, there's a bit there, or as I've just done, he's flung across the room, you know, start again. You can do quite easily, but let's pretend I didn't flick it across the room. We'd lay it down nice and carefully after seeing that it's all good, and what you want to do, get some sort of pot or lid, place it on top so you don't have no dust go on top of it, because trust me, dust, hairs, anything goes on that and it's going to look a bit naff. And when it dries, it should look absolutely crystal clear, which I'll probably show you later on when it has dried. One thing I forgot to mention is when you dip your canopies, at the end when we unmask our canopy, if you've got any sort of overspray or anything like that, I like to use things like toothpicks and IPA to kind of clean up the windows and stuff. If you've dipped your model, you can't use things like IPA to clean things up, so you know, it might be a little bit sort of tricky. That's kind of like why I don't prefer it, but it is kind of quick and easy to an extent, but there are potential problems down the line.